So occupational therapy is kind of difficult to explain sometimes, and nobody really knows what OT is. So I like to think of our occupations as the way we occupy our time. So it could be anything. It could be reading a book, it could be showering, it could be going to the bathroom, it could be playing outside, it could be handwriting in the classroom if you're a kiddo. So occupational therapists and occupational therapy assistants work on not only regaining those skills if somebody's lost them, developing them if they've never had them in the first place, or lost them after an accident or something like that. But it's not just the physical piece, it might be the cognitive piece, it might be the emotional piece. So I like to also think that we're very holistic in treating the whole person and individual needs rather than just musculoskeletal or movement if it's PT. I think you kind of have to have an interest in the medical background or like A&P science kind of background, but an interest in a psych background as well. And be empathetic, I guess, as well as creative, because we're always coming up with different solutions to barriers and treatment interventions. I love hearing everybody's I wanted to get into OT backstory. So I started in nursing, and then my daughter's father was in a car accident and broke his neck, so he was a spinal cord injury at the cervical level. And in going to his therapy when he was in the hospital, I was like, why am I doing nursing? This stuff is awesome, and I didn't know what it was until then. So a lot of people end up having some kind of background knowledge of it or involvement in it. I've seen students have a child that was in occupational therapy or a grandparent that was in occupational therapy. I think a rewarding piece is that, a lot of degrees, you're getting a degree in one particular thing and that's it, and that's the only job you can do. But you get a degree in occupational therapy and you can work with anybody across the lifespan. So you can work in the schools, you can work in outpatient, you can work in home health. You don't like that, you can go to the hospital. So really I feel like it's a never-ending kind of degree that has a bunch of jobs, and the job market is huge and growing a ton, and the pay's pretty darn good too. I do think that we're going to kind of do things a little bit separate from PTA now though, only because it is so hard for people to understand what OT is and the difference. So people kind of gravitate towards what they know, and everybody knows what PT is. So I think the biggest piece of what we have to do with all of this is like the advocacy piece of like what is OT and where do OTs belong and what can OTs do in the community, and that's always the hard piece. I think the best thing that I've heard is that one of our current students here is now my full-time faculty. That's Mary Wagner. No, she just got married. Mary Klasmer, Mrs. C. She was a 2020 graduate. But a lot of students get job offers right on their level 2 fieldwork and end up having a job before they even take their board exam. So I think that's pretty awesome too. We made that for flexibility so that our students don't have to be here 4 days a week all day long, and everybody has different things going on in their life, right? So still the same amount of time spent for program stuff, but you can do the majority of it at home. So really the only time students have to be on campus is one weekend a month, Saturday and Sunday both. We do some virtual Teams lectures, but the majority of the work is done on their due dates, but flexible, right? So they can do them whenever they want.